Alright, you guys, so it's been a couple days now that I've had the truck, and I must say right off the back, I love this thing. This thing is freaking awesome. The low end torque it has, just getting around the neighborhood, around the city, is freaking phenomenal. Getting up to speed, getting up on the highway, getting up on the freeway, I mean, man. Big ass truck, and it feels so light. The suspension is great. The way it drives is great. Like I said, its speed, its acceleration, the torque is awesome. My one and only biggest complaint is obviously not having that V8 sound. But I must admit, hearing those turbos and all those turbo sounds brings me back to my Genesis that I used to have, and it does sound pretty fucking cool. So for sure, there will be performance mods coming. Nothing too crazy. Like I said, this is definitely gonna be my daily. It's gonna replace my Tacoma that I used to have. But a little bit of a story time, I guess, now, like I promised you guys. So the Tacoma, we'll start there. Back in December is when I really started to look at getting rid of it. I love that truck. Absolutely nothing wrong with that truck. It's just for what it was, I kind of outgrew it. Me and my family, as you can see the car seat behind me, my son, it would get really tight in here in the Tacoma, being a mid-sized truck. And then besides that, me and my brothers just recently got a brand new boat. 2021 Moomba Max. It's about a 25-foot boat rounded up, and it's just a beast compared to my old boat. For those of you guys that have been watching for a while now, or that have been around my channel, you've actually seen our old boat. I've done a couple videos on that, so feel free to check that out. I'll probably put it right here on the screen somewhere. But anyways, we got a new boat. I needed a little more towing capacity. I obviously am well aware that the Raptor is not a tow vehicle by any means, or a tow rig by any means at all, but it gave me a little more cushion than what the Tacoma had. So it's definitely plenty of towing power for what I need. And obviously, not to mention the size in here, the amount of space in the cabin is just night and day. And then I've always wanted a Raptor, so I figured, what the hell. So back in December, I began to look at selling the Tacoma. Like I said earlier in this video, I know I left you guys kind of high and dry on what was going on with that build. I do still have videos of that I have to go through my memory cards and find, because they're pretty old. So I'll probably still just edit those up and post them for you guys to see kind of where the Tacoma ended and where it was before I got rid of it. But back on that story, back in December, I looked to sell it. I posted it as is for $48,000. Now, I know obviously that's well over what Tacomas are worth, or what you can buy for a new one, right? But I mean, after I did all the math, I had about $22,000 worth of modifications on the truck. And of course, that's retail price, right? That's what would it cost for just anybody to go out and replicate my truck? It came out to about $22,000. At the time of me looking to sell my truck, the Kelley Blue Book value on it, with the miles that it had, which by the way, it had like 27,300 miles or 27,000 miles. And the Kelley Blue Book value for my truck was actually it was 34,800. So we'll call it 35. So 35, and then I figured plus, cut the mods in half. I ended up at around 48, willing to take 46. So if someone would have offered me $46,000, I would have sold it. Obviously, I tried to take the easiest route first, which was sell the Tacoma as is, the way that I had it sitting. That didn't happen. It took me several months. Since December, I was kind of looking at this market as well, following the Raptor market and seeing how these come and go, and their values and whatnot. So basically, a couple months ago, or maybe late March sometime, I decided, okay, you know what? I've been trying to sell it as is for a while now. Time to part out. So believe it or not, I completely took apart the Tacoma. Everything, every single mod that I did on that truck, I took apart. I was lucky enough to find one guy that bought a majority of my big modifications all together. I mean, this guy bought suspension, everything, every part of my suspension, my wheels, tires, even my re-gear, which that was probably the biggest thing that I could have tried to get rid of or tried to sell. Again, you guys probably aren't aware, and I don't think I ever did a video on it, but that Tacoma had 529 nitro gears and ARB front locker. So there was quite a stuff on there, and there was quite a lot of things that I did to that truck that I didn't even put on video, to be honest with you. But like I said, maybe I'll do another video showing you where that truck was right before I parted it all out, because I did film that. But needless to say, that one guy bought all that, and it just so happened that he had a 2018 Tacoma TRD off-road, same exact specs as mine, same exact stock gearing ratios. So, oh man, it was a 2-3 day job just to tear my truck completely apart. I mean, my truck, my house looked like a chop shop. My truck was over there on all 4 jack stands, completely torn apart, front bumper removed, everything. I think that's another video that I never even put up, is us installing my hybrid high clearance bumper that I actually had on the truck, which I did do a video of that, so I will post that video. But anyways, back to the story. So that guy took a lot of my mods. All in all, once the truck was 100% back to stock, I ended up making about $15,500 off of just all the mods. And then at that point, I was to the point where I was kind of, the mods were gone, truck was stock. I had the truck stock maybe for another 2-3 weeks before I finally got rid of it. Trying to sell it stock. I had a couple offers at $33,000, which at that point the Kelly Blue Book value was still 35, and it was kind of weird because it would actually fluctuate. One week it'll say 35, the next week it'll say 36.5. I guess supply and demand, whatever the case is, but I had a couple offers at 33. So then I'm sitting at work maybe a week ago exactly on a Friday, and like I said, since November I've been keeping track of how these Raptors go, their values, and how quickly these things get sold when a good deal pops up. So I'm sitting at work on a Friday, and I work fairly early, so it must have been 5 a.m. I'm on cars.com like I normally do, and I see this truck pop up. This truck, this Raptor that I'm sitting in, pops up for $61,800, 27,000 miles, 2017, pretty much fully loaded except for the moonroof and the heated rear seats. And I mean, this thing in avalanche gray, which by far is one of my favorite colors. You could ask all of my buddies when the GT350 came out back in 2016, when they announced it that it was going to come in that color, avalanche gray. I always said it, one day if I wrap my car, the Mustang, I'm going to wrap it that color. And that color was really like the inspiration of me getting the cement Tacoma, because Toyota had something similar. So needless to say, when I saw that it was the avalanche gray, I was like mind blown. And what I've learned from following the Raptor market, I guess, for the last several months is, here in California, obviously way more expensive. The best deals that I found or were looking at was either Las Vegas, Arizona, out of state, Colorado, whatever, right? So when this thing popped up, great, dude. It was, like I said, like 61.8, 20,000 miles, 27,000 miles, 2017. It was perfect. Originally, I was going for a lead foot gray, but those were hard to come by as well. This one I never even thought about, because to be honest, I've only ever seen one other Raptor in person as an avalanche gray. I've never seen this color besides that one other time. And when I did see that color, I kind of had to take like a double take. Like, holy shit, was that a avalanche gray? So I was just all over this one. At that time, I still had the Tacoma, still up for sale, but I was waiting for the pink slip. So I had a couple offers, still waiting on that pink slip. I was told 2 to 4 weeks for the pink slip, but with all this COVID deal and shipping delays and all that, and the DMV being backed up or shut down or whatever, I was a little worried because I didn't know when it was going to come. So like I said, I had a couple offers for $33,000 on that truck already, on the Tacoma. So this thing pops up on Friday. I'm thinking to myself, holy shit, I can't let this thing pass me up. I can't let this deal go. So first thing, they open in Las Vegas, the dealership that had this truck in Las Vegas, which was a Dodge dealership, opened up at 8 a.m., right? So I'm sitting there contacting them, calling them. It was a hell of a job just to get a hold of a salesman. Eventually I do. About 10 a.m., I get all the info. He's telling me, like, yeah, there's actually someone looking at it right now. I got test drives lined up for tomorrow, about 5 of them, whatever the case is. And I do believe him, because one came up here local, went to see it. It hadn't been posted for more than 48 hours. And when I went to go see it 2 days after it was posted, it was already sold by the time I got there. So I knew I had to jump on it. Long story short, I put a $5,000 deposit on this truck, non-refundable. Basically buying the truck without ever seeing it in person, test driving it, none of that. And this truck was located in Las Vegas, which is about a 4 or 5 hour drive. So I couldn't let it pass. I was a little worried. I was a little skeptical because I'm like, damn, dude. One, I haven't seen it. One, I haven't driven it. And two, I don't even have the pink slip for the Tacoma yet. I know the money was there in the Tacoma. I know the Kelley Blue Book value was there and what I wanted was there. It's just, when was the pink slip going to arrive? And when was I going to be able to get rid of it, right? So I did have the guy FaceTime me, send me pictures up and down. I mean, every little thing that you can think of to look at on this Raptor, I had him send me pictures of. So that day I put the 5K down, done deal, it's yours. My next day off was on Tuesday. This was a Friday that this happened. So I go to book my flights. Thankfully, flights to Vegas were only about $25 for that following Tuesday. So it actually wasn't too bad at all. Me and my brother, we got a flight together. That very next day on Saturday after work, I get home and boom, my freaking pink slip for the Tacoma is sitting in my mailbox. The timing on how all this worked out, guys, was fucking amazing. It was awesome the way the timing it all fell into place. It was meant to be. So I get home from work, get the pink slip, go straight over to CarMax. They offer me $34,000. Perfect, sold. Left the truck there, ended up making $1,000 more than I would have private selling it out here, at least the offers that I had. So, with that said and done, that's $34,000 for the truck, another $15,500 in mods. So I ended up making $49,500 on the Tacoma. Not to mention maybe another $500 that I actually charged people that were buying my mods to install it on their truck. So we'll call it all said and done. All in all, I ended up getting 50 G's out of the Tacoma, when originally I was willing to sell it for 46 the way it was. So obviously this way it was a lot more work to undo everything, but I mean, you guys have been around long enough to know that that's what I do. I mod my cars, I tear it apart, I put it back together, and I get shit done, right? So so it was just crazy how it all worked out. Tuesday comes along, we fly out to Vegas. The salesman picks me up in the Raptor, and oh my god, it was beautiful, gorgeous. Seeing it in person was awesome. Talked it over. He told me about how many people actually came over to check out the truck over the weekend that were interested, that wanted to buy it right then and there, that wanted to sweep the deal out from under me. And thankfully, the dealership didn't allow that, and thankfully they held on to it. And he gave me a little backstory on the truck. It turns out that the previous owner was actually some sort of millionaire with a bunch of cars that lived, turns out he only lives maybe 30-40 minutes away from me here in Calabasas, I believe. So it's kind of funny that, from my understanding, that the previous owner wanted a TRX, but he couldn't find a TRX here in SoCal without the ridiculous amount of markup as you would expect. Even for these Raptors, they're still heavily marked up, the second gens, even though the third gens are coming out. But anyways, so I guess he is real close friends with the owner of that Dodge dealership out there in Las Vegas. So he drove this truck out to Vegas, traded it in, got his TRX. A couple days later, I fly in, pick it up, and drive it right back down to SoCal, about 30-40 minutes away from where the previous owner used to live. So it was kind of a funny story how it all worked out. The previous owner always kept the garage kept. I mean, obviously, he owned this truck, one owner. He owned it for 4 years, and I did the math. It turned out to be like a little over 5,000 miles a year that he put on this truck, which, I mean, is just ridiculous. Like I said, my Tacoma had 27,300 miles when I traded it in. This thing, when I picked it up, had like 27,100 and something. So it was kind of crazy and kind of great how it all just worked out for me, and I picked up right where I left off as far as the mileage. Full disclosure, being totally transparent with you guys, like I said, they were asking $61,800 for the truck. The market value for this truck at the time was $65,000, which, so for me, it was a great freaking deal. And the fact that it was out of state, I'm sure that's why I got it a little cheaper as well. There was another one just down the street here in Long Beach. Same mileage, I think it was a black, same packages, same everything, same year. and they were asking 65, 66. So that's specifically that reason is why I couldn't let this deal pass up. So anyway, I go up there, get it Tuesday, drive it back. I mean, everything on this truck is freaking flawless, dude. I mean, it looks... Me and my brother, when we got there, we walked around trying to look for any imperfections, expecting to find some, right? I mean, it's 27,000 miles and it's a used truck. We found 2 small paint chips on the exterior, which I'm assuming happened from him driving it up to Vegas. And, but that's nothing, you know? I mean, that's going to happen. I probably put a couple more paint chips on it myself, driving it back down from Vegas. And then we found one little smudge on the door inside on the back. And that's it. Besides that, the truck is flawless. The only thing the previous owner did, from what I can see, is one, powder coat the OEM rims, because these are the only OEM wheels. He just had them powder coated. And then he put a very light, maybe, I don't know, 35%, 20% tint inside, which... to me, that's way too light. I'm definitely going to go limo tint around in here. But, yeah, dude, it just worked out great. Back to the numbers. They wanted 61.8. We'll call it 62. After taxes all said and done out the door, it ended up being 71 something. We'll call it 72. And then I ended up coming in with 25 down. And luckily, my credit score was pretty damn good. So I got a really good rate. And my monthly payment now on this is $642, which is only 200 and something bucks more than the Tacoma. So not that big of a feel. I didn't feel it so much. The insurance, surprisingly, on this truck is actually cheaper than it was on my Tacoma. When I asked my guy why, he said, 1, it's 1 year older, and 2, this truck is actually rated to be a lot safer than my Tacoma was. So I can't complain. It was kind of a... It was an even trade, and honestly, for what I got, for what I saw the Tacoma, it just, like I said, guys, it all worked out fucking beautifully. Everything worked out perfect. The timing was perfect. Been holding out, following, like I said, since November, December. And that's pretty much it. Over the weekend, obviously, you know how it is. You know how it is on this channel. If you guys have been watching since the beginning, you know how I am. Parts started trickling in for the truck before I even had the truck. So as of right now, I do have a couple things sitting in the garage that I am going to install on this thing, and we're just going to pick it up, kind of starting over from where we had the Tacoma. Like I said, loved the Tacoma, loved it for what it was. We just outgrew it, needed more towing capacity. And then now that I'm talking about that, if you guys do want to see the new boat, let me know down below. I'll definitely go do a video on that boat. That thing is freaking gorgeous, dude. That boat is amazing. Funny enough, that boat actually has a 6.2 liter V8 Raptor engine from the first gen Raptors in it, so that thing's pretty freaking torquey. But yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. 2017 Ford Raptor. I love it. The only things I didn't get was the big old moonroof, which I didn't really care for. It's definitely nice and cool because my brother has a 2019 Ford Raptor fully loaded, and it's pretty awesome to have that. But I didn't get that, and I didn't get the heated rear seats. I think that's about it. Everything else is there. I have everything else that you could possibly get in this year truck. But that's it. I love this thing. More mods coming. Definitely more videos. Hopefully, I'll try to post some videos of the Tacoma the way it was before I left it, before I sold it. And for those of you guys still watching since day one, thanks for staying true. Thanks for being OGs, and thanks for coming back after, what, maybe a year or 2 years of me not making videos. But that's pretty much it, you guys. More videos coming on the Raptor. Stay tuned. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace.